Hello there, and welcome back to the booth here at Pro Tour Eldritch Moon. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Buehler. We're down the stretch here, kids. This is round 15, round 16. We're forming our top 8 as we go. In the feature match here, we have Reid Duke versus Yuta Takahashi right now. Hello and welcome to coverage of Pro Tour Eldritch Moon. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Buehler. We're ready for round 15 action, Randy. We're getting down the stretch of the tournament here. This is where the tension raises and top 8 slots are up for grabs. We've got in our feature match area Reid Duke of the United States on red-green Delirium ramp. Reid has a fantastic record here late in the day. He's 12-2.
So we think he's safely in.
We think he's safely in as it sits. Now, his opponent is not in such a luxurious position. He's Yuta Takahashi from Japan on Bant Company. Yuta 11-3, so he's actually playing up here.
Yeah, you want to get win number 12. Everybody thinks with only 300 players, 12-4 is the key record. You know, 12-4 with good breakers. The sooner you get to 12-4, the better your breakers are going to be. So Yuta Takahashi playing to probably clinch top 8 with a round to go. And oh, by the way, Yuta Takahashi, we found another Bant Company player.
Yeah,
it's not just Luis at the top tables who's been having success. Yuta Takahashi would like to get that number up to 2. Reid, meanwhile, on one of Pantheon's assorted Emrakul decks. His is the rampiest of them.
Yes, straight red-green.
Straight red-green.
In an early play here from Yuta Takahashi, he's got a Sylvan Advocate on the battlefield, so a good start for him. He wants to start applying pressure to Reid in the early stages, as Reid kind of does a lot of not board-affecting stuff early in the game. Here's one, now that we mention it, the Hedron Crawler there.
Yeah, we've been watching this matchup with Luis piloting the Bant Company a couple of times in the last couple of rounds, and it is really a tempo battle. Like, Bant Company needs to come out quickly. It needs to get creatures onto the board as quickly as possible, attack with them, and then just try to, bounce and spell queller its way into opening up little windows to get through those last couple of points of damage.
Yeah, on Reid's side, he's going to be trying to prevent that the best he can with cards like Kozilek's Return and Ishkana Graph Widow, which I mentioned those specifically because Reid has those in his hand right now.
Those are good ones.
And there's a Reflector Mage just to set Reid back. He's going to bounce the Hedron Crawler. Of course, Reid's not going to be able to replay that this turn. No Nissa's Pilgrimage from Reid here either, so he just does nothing and passes the turn. This could get pretty out of hand pretty quickly for Yuta. Now he's attacking for 4 damage, dropping Reid down to 14. And, if he passes the turn here, he can have a Spell Queller, he can have a Collected Company, and he could really take over. Vessel of Nascency off the top of the deck for Reid Duke. He would have loved to have seen that last turn to at least use up his mana. Now he's going to have to settle for a Hedron Archive, which is going to get Spell Quellered there from Yuta. Wow, this is, you mentioned it as a tempo type matchup here from Yuta's perspective, and he is playing that tempo game very, very nicely here. Now he's attacking for 6.
Yeah, it's 3 toughness, 3 toughness, 3 toughness as well, which is pretty important against Kozilek's Return.
Yeah, I got to say, Yuta's draw has lined up perfectly against what Reid has here. Reid's got an Emrakul, the Promised End in hand, that's just can't really do anything. The big turn here is from Ishkana. Unfortunately for Reid, he's not going to have Delirium.
Nope.
And while Ishkana is a good blocker on her own, it's the 1/2 Reach Spiders that she brings with her that are particularly powerful to keep you alive for multiple turns. So, 3/5 Reach for 5 is not what you're wanting to play in Limited here, especially since Yuta Takahashi is just going to take care of it right now. Land, grow my Advocate, fight your Spider, game.
And did you see Yuta played Reflector Mage on the previous turn just as a vanilla 2/3? Nothing to bounce, but he wanted to be at 8 power because he saw exactly this coming. Reid tries to play a blocker, kill it with Dromoka's Command, kill you.
And that was it. Yuta Takahashi takes game 1 over Reid Duke. We'll be back right after these messages.
Friday Night Magic is your local hangout where everyone is welcome. Gather with friends at your favorite game store every Friday night. For more info, visit magic.wizards.com/FNM. Outfit your Magic collection with the newest Eldritch Moon accessories from Ultra Pro. You can see the full array of card sleeves, deck boxes, playmats, and portfolios of your favorite Magic artwork at ultrapro.com.
Welcome back to the feature match area here in Sydney, Australia. That was a quick game one. Why don't we check out Lucas Blohon versus Owen Turtenwald. Now, this is another massive match late in the tournament here for these two gentlemen. Lucas Blohon is on white-black control, sitting at 11-3 versus Teamer Emerge from Owen Turtenwald, also on 11-3. You mentioned 12 as that threshold that they're trying to get to.
Owen has played for a 12th win twice now, but lost them both. He's probably starting to sweat a little bit. I mean, he's still got one to give. He needs to win one of the next two. He was our overnight leader. He was our last undefeated by several rounds, but still has some work to do. And the thing is...
Oh, man. By the way, Randy, not to interrupt, but there's a Liliana emblem on the battlefield here for Blohon. So this is...
Yikes.
This might not last much longer. Carry on.
Owen is playing not just for top 8. He's playing for Player of the Year. If he makes this top 8...
Holy smokes.
Yes. Seth Manfield has not had a particularly good weekend. Seth might manage to get a 4th pro point, but he's not going to be padding his lead here. Owen can path Seth Manfield by making it to Sunday.
We were talking about this going all the way back to last weekend at GP Sydney and how things were shaping up. And there's Emrakul now for Owen.
You think the story team's happy right now? Emrakul versus Liliana? Squaring off. I think Liliana might win. Isn't that how it's supposed to play out?
I actually think it. So if Lucas is on 33 life, even for Emrakul, that's a 3-turn clock. And of course, Owen can't really do anything about this extra turn that Lucas is getting when it comes to those zombies.
Right.
Like, he gets those zombies still, and then he takes his turn and he has the zombies.
So Emrakul just gave Liliana even more zombies.
Exactly. Now, the draw step there for Lucas, though, was a ruinous path. So, Owen's now trying to figure out how to manage his turn the best, but, he can kill Kalitas there with that. He's got some things to do, but you can't interact with an emblem.
Can't interact with the emblem.
That thing is going to chug out zombies every turn for as long as this game goes, and Owen is going to have to race it somehow on...
Well, Kozilek's return could actually enable a race, right? He doesn't have to reset the zombies that many times when his big plan is to attack for 13 a turn.
And I'll tell you, you know what else can do it?
Elder
Deep Fiend. And according to our hand viewer, let's bring it up here, Owen has 2 of those in his hand. You have to figure that would buy him enough time between blocking and tapping down zombies to just kill Lucas.
Yeah, and he's got the 8 mana where he doesn't have to emerge them out either.
Okay, so that was kind of tricky too. With still on end step, there's still priority passed after triggers resolve. So Owen said, I'm going to make you grasp one of the zombies. And that can be really important because remember, it's 2+, so it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Starting with 1 could be very relevant, especially with Owen at only 7 life here.
Wow.
Randy,
So
I think he can do
turn.
it. I think he can do it. I do. I think Owen might be able to race a Liliana emblem. Is that how the story ends?
No. Oh.
I missed this.
What just happened?
Emrakul down
off
and
the
the
top.
ruinous path off the top from Lucas Blohon, really wrecking the plans from Owen Turtenwald. He's going to need to find, well, not a Shivan Reef, which is what he drew there.
The ruinous path is a sorcery, and Owen had nothing to point it at during that turn that he controlled.
There must have been an additional one in his hand because there was a Kalitas on the battlefield there. So there was 2 in his hand. I did not see the second one hiding. So there's nothing that Owen can do in that scenario. And now this is a losing battle for Owen Turtenwald, trying to Elder Deep Fiend to block and survive against the zombie horde that is growing here is not going to get the job done in the long run. Now, this one is going to flash back, so to speak, a Kozilek's return, which is going to reset it. But I got to figure that it's going to be tough for the Elder Deep Fiend as just a 5-power ground attacker to get through the zombies. Another land off the top for Turtenwald. Interestingly, also for Lucas Blohon, he has an Obnixilis in hand that he can use to take down one of these deep fiends.
Well, if he ever gets
when
untapped
he,
mana.
When he gets the mana, exactly.
Lucas is playing to defend his life total. Makes sense. He just wants the game to go more turns.
And you see Owen taking the safe route here, tapping down a zombie just to make sure in case this deep fiend gets killed that he doesn't just die on the spot. But that Liliana emblem chugging away.
He actually enabled Obnixilis by only tapping 4 lands. Or by only tapping 3 lands. He let Lucas top deck a swamp to get down Obnixilis.
And that does it.
There you go.
Lucas Blohon picks up the first game.
Crazy. Yeah. Sorry. Emrakul just couldn't quite do enough.
No.
Lucas was going to have an answer to it no matter what Owen did. Wow. And Owen, he can't fail from 11-1, right?
I'll be honest, I don't even want to think about it yet, Randy.
He was 11-1.
He was 11-1. Let's see what happens this match, then we'll talk.
All right. And somewhere Seth Manfield is sweating this too.
All right, so why don't we go over to the table you see on the far right over there. That's Thomas Hendriks. He's playing against Daniel Cathro from the United States. Thomas is from the Netherlands, and it looks like we're still in game 1 between these two players here, and a pretty developed board for Daniel. He's got a lot of zombie action going on himself here. There's Liliana, Kalitas, a Crypt Breaker, a Haunted Dead, and you can see a prized amalgam, you know, one of the key interactions to a deck like this.
Yeah, I mean, hearing about the blue-black zombies deck with the Crypt Breakers, prized amalgams, is there Haunted Dead? Is that Haunted Dead too?
Yeah, in the middle, yeah.
Nice. I didn't realize that we were still live to get one of these on the Sunday. This deck looks amazing. I mean, I've heard about it. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it though.
It is
some fun
something else.
magic.
It has some serious synergies going on for sure. These players are both 10-3-1.
Right. So they need to win.
Okay. Oh, this could be a big turn here for Cathro. He's got a Voldaren Pariah in his hand. In fact, he actually has 2 of them in his hand. And plenty of fodder for it as well. Let's see what his plan is. Looks like he's going to make a zombie and madness out. Voldaren Pariah.
Neat.
So this is pretty cool stuff. Crypt Breaker, discarding a card to make a zombie, and then paying the triple black mana, the madness cost, excuse me, on Voldaren Pariah. And this stands to wipe the board of Thomas Hendriks here. Daniel says, well,
this is still my main phase. I haven't activate to the Crypt Breaker.
so first he's going to draw a card with the
Sure.
Crypt Breaker. Tap 3, untap zombies you control, pay a life, draw a card.
Activate.
Wouldn't want to sack untapped creatures.
Hey, I like the value. And now he's going to transform
Get 2 zombies.
his Voldaren Pariah. That forces his opponent to sacrifice 3 cards. And of course,
Plus on nothing.
now it's Abolisher of the Bloodlines, which is a 6/5 with flying, even bigger. And what a turn for Daniel Cathro.
Wow.
Wow, we came in right in time
We
to
did.
let him show off what his deck's capable
We really
of doing
did.
here.
Go.
Wow.
Did he top deck a balance? Oh, he doesn't have the white mana to cast it. So.
I was like, what? Turn?
I'm glad we got to see that.
I am too. Wow, that was really impressive. Daniel Cathro takes that game.
That's pretty good. I'll take this.
I played beds.
Did you?
All right, one more match that we haven't visited yet. We might as well take a look at that one. Jan Cassander with Bant Spirits. He's playing against Ken Yukihiro from Japan on red-green ramp. And again, we have another match similar to the last one. Both players 10-3-1 here.
So they need to win-win. Bant Spirits, huh? Not a lot of this deck running around.
Kind of interested in it.
We should go back to Owen and Lucas, right?
Oh, they're underway?
Yeah.
I don't want to miss a second of that one.
Me neither.
super important match.
It's like Owen's cracking a vessel of nascency is all we've missed.
Okay, can live with that. See, our main match is starting to get back underway.
Can I see the cards?
There we are.
All right.
I'm pretty sure.
Corrupted Graphstone
I double check. Okay.
for Owen Turtenwald. Not a card we've seen in too many decks
True.
thus far, but here it is.
Yeah, it's only in the Pantheon lists.
He
And
also
it
has
might
a
only
vessel.
be in Owen's for that matter.
Four.
Lucas Blohon mapping out this critical early turns. Let's take a look at what he's working with in hand. You can see he's got triple Grasp of Darkness plus a Read the Bones.
Decides that was Anguished Unmaking, right?
Looks like it. Wow. You see what he exiled?
It was a Vessel of Nascency,
Vessel
wasn't
of
it?
Nascency that he hit there. Very aggressive. So Owen's going to play Grapple with the Past and find, looks like a Game Trail that he's going to end up taking. Remember, he can take any of the creature or land from his graveyard, not just the ones that were revealed. All right, there's also Corrupted Graphstone.
I'd rather stay here for what it's worth.
And there's Kalitas for Lucas Blohon. Doesn't look too great here, to be honest. You know, Owen's deck is capable of doing much more powerful things than that, but it's certainly a piece of a victory for Lucas.
Look at that hand from Lucas Blohon. 4 removal spells and a Read the Bones.
Why?
It doesn't.
What are those Grasp of Darknesses hitting?
I was kind of wondering the same thing. It doesn't
Emrakul's a
seem like.
13/13. Elder Deep Fiend's a 5/6.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Grasp,
could combine them.
Grasp doesn't seem like it's what this match is about.
4 Grasp and an ultimate price is what we're showing for Lucas Blohon's hand. Crazy. I mean, we saw Gnarlwood Dryads from Owen.
True.
17 to 20. Yep. Sure.
Wow, Owen's got the tech Coax from the Blind Eternities in his hand. I just admire the tech, the thinking behind that card. Like,
That
all
is
right,
sweet.
the worst thing that can happen to me is an opponent who casts Infinite Obliteration and removes all my Emrakuls from the game. What am I going to do if that happens? Got it. I'm going to coax Emrakul back from the Blind Eternities.
Here's Transgress the Mind after the Read the Bones from Lucas Blohon.
Even a flavor win.
It is. I never thought of my sideboard as the Blind Eternities, but hey, it's in a deck box. Maybe it is.
It's the Exile Zone. That's the Blind Eternities.
Fair enough.
6. Instant sorcery, artifact, creature, land, enchantment.
Looks like Owen has Delirium to the tune of 6 different card types. Of course, the reason that that gets brought up is because Lucas is wondering when Owen can actually cast Emrakul and doing the numbers on that.
The answer is next turn.
Yeah, he's all set to go with the Graphstones and the lands and the Delirium. And then things get really complicated because sometimes you have to ask yourself, what happens if they do cast it? Can I allow that? Generally, the answer's been no, right? Emrakul does tend to end the game, but doesn't always. And it is Emrakul that's going to go away. And is exiled.
Yep.
Owen Turtenwald with the plan. Coax from the Blind Eternities can allow him to get Emrakul back. Now the question is, does he have enough mana to do both in one turn? feel like he was a mana short on that play, but yeah, it looks like he doesn't quite. And also, he's got other plans.
Sure.
He's got places to put this mana. He's just going to hard cast Elder Deep Fiend on upkeep, it looks like, and really force the issue. Now, does Lucas have enough black mana to fire off 2 Grasp of Darknesses? I feel like he doesn't.
It's a lot of black mana.
I think he's got a Blighted Fen on the battlefield. So Elder Deep Fiend survives. And that basically just takes an entire turn from Lucas Blohon, at least as of yet. And here's Vessel of Nascency, hitting an island for Turtenwald. Back-to-back game wins here should put him into the top 8. If he loses either of those games, then we've got one more round of Swiss for him to pick up that victory.
And he has the best tiebreakers in the room, so certainly for him, 12-4 should be good enough.
He was 11-1. He's lost his last 2 matches. We saw an exciting one against Luis Scott Vargas a little while ago.
Indeed.
Go.
What could it be, Marshall? It's a face-down morph.
Yeah. Is that another ultimate price off the top for Blohon? I'm shocked. Ultimate price does not kill Elder Deep Fiend or Emrakul.
Definitely one of the tricky bits with a white-black control deck is figuring out how much removal you can get in, what they're going to match up, what you need. Various opponents have various different threats. We've been talking about 12 as the magic number to get to, you know, all but lock up top 8. We did have 2 players actually mathematically lock up top 8 off camera. Luis Scott Vargas and Sam Pardee shook each other's hands, drew into guaranteed top 8 spots.
2 California natives. All right, so Owen actually blocked Kalitas here, and Lucas is going to use one of his Grasp of Darknesses to shrink down the Elder Deep Fiend, and it's going to get gobbled up by Kalitas, who of course is going to generate a zombie as well. And a handful of removal spells plus a Gideon now for Lucas Blohon. He's going to pass the turn back. I guess he doesn't want a Gideon that can get attacked by the Den Protector. He'd rather just wait, kill the Den Protector, and then play Gideon later. Owen's going to get value from that Den Protector either way, though. Wow, he is deep in the tank.
I mean, Den Protector gives him a lot of options. It's a pretty stocked graveyard.
He ended up getting a Grapple with the Pass, which is a card he can cast immediately. He's finally found a target for the ultimate price there. So he's starting to make use of those bot removal spells in his hand. There's Coax from the Blind Eternities. Get back Emrakul. Play Emrakul. You weren't kidding about that tech.
Nope. That's awesome.
He actually had 2 mana to spare in that sequence.
Instant sorcery, land, artifact, creature, enchantment. Yeah, just cross 7.
Okay, 1 land
1
to
mana
spare.
to spare.
Okay.
Wow.
And now he gets to take control of Lucas's
I
turn.
got to say, these spot removal spells are looking double bad now.
Lucas is going to run out of mana, though, right?
Yes, that is the bottleneck. One other decision that Owen's going to have to make is in regards to Gideon.
Yep.
He can play him and ultimate him that same turn, dealing with Gideon permanently, but also leaving an emblem behind that could be pretty pesky later on. And that would leave only enough mana for one spot removal spell.
Blighted Fen yourself.
He's going to Blighted Fen himself instead. Attack, block. And so he's going to take the line of saying, okay, you've got all these spells that I don't really care about in your hand anyway.
Right.
Outside of Gideon, maybe. And so instead, I'm going to take a land off of you, a zombie off of you, and your Kalatas off of you.
Stop. What?
And deal with the Blighted Fen, which
Does Blighted
is
Fen
capable
only
of...
target opponent?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was going to look that up, but
Blighted Fen is target opponent?
yeah.
So it was right before passing the turn.
Yeah, I mean, there was
So
zombie.
it was something like this.
So they're just going to back up to the point where Owen made an illegal play
Seems
on
reasonable.
Lucas's behalf?
I don't think that Lucas had drawn his card or moved too far forward, so it makes sense.
Target opponent sacrifices a creature.
You were controlling the turn. You were the one doing the wrong action. It means you have to give your...
Okay, well, so that line that Owen took isn't going to end up working, but
It also means the Blighted Fen's not going to go away, and the Blighted Fen is going to kill Emrakul. Like, none of the cards in Lucas's hand are capable of killing Emrakul.
Yep.
But Blighted Fen is.
Okay.
so Owen is going to have to make do here with as much as he can, as much damage as he can with Lucas's hand to his own board state. But you're right. Blighted Fen will get Emrakul on Lucas's turn.
I mean, Owen's out of gas, too, right? That Coax from the Blind Eternities was the last card in his hand.
I think he's got one more card in his hand.
He has whatever he drew that turn.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
the
the
grapple.
grapple
You get
that
the
he got
grapple.
back. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, you know that gets Emrakul back.
Well, if Kalatas is dead.
Indeed. Which he can do.
Right. Yeah, he clearly needs to kill the Kalatas.
Yeah.
Grasp this.
And you can see that Owen's coming to the same conclusions that we are here.
So down to 20.
So he's going to activate a land here. Now, this actually does take Lucas Blohon off of the ability to use Blighted Fen unless he draws an untapped land, which he does not have in his hand right now.
Good point.
And he didn't.
Nope.
He did not find it. Whew.
Wow.
Now, Lucas Blohon does have a land in his hand. He's got a replacement Shambling Vent. It's tapped, and he can take a hit of 13 and still continue with the game here. So Lucas is not done yet, but Owen did buy himself one turn with Emrakul. And if he can play another creature,
Right.
there's another Emrakul off the top.
Wow. That's legendary. He wants to just play something to take a hit for the team.
Yeah, I'm just saying he has okay, Lucas, go ahead, kill my Emrakul. Play another one. It's a nice backup plan.
He's just playing it now.
He can do the same thing he did last time.
Sure.
That you didn't have an untapped land then. I can just send in the Shambling Vent, kill your Kalatas. He's got basically the same hand in the same situation.
Second Gideon. So
That's really. I think he just runs it
Grasp
back.
Kalatas, attack with Shambling Vent.
I believe so, Randy. It worked so
Seen
well
this
last
turn
time. Remember,
before.
again, then he'll only need Lucas Blohon not drawing an untapped land for one
Grasp him.
turn,
We can
and
take
then
one down to
Emrakul gets the job done.
8. Activate. Attack. Block.
That puts him up to 11, but still enough to die to Emrakul.
Go.
Okay, this is a big
Can
draw
Lucas
step for
top deck a
Blohon.
land?
He needs an untapped land.
Nope.
And he didn't. He found an infinite obliteration. Oh, man, that was really close. He can't get in for 17 here. He can cast infinite obliteration, which is going to get him an idea of
Sure.
what Owen has going on
Yeah,
sideboard-wise.
this is the pre-concession. Let me see how you're
Whoa.
sideboarded.
Owen,
wow.
He really earned that one.
Owen did. He found a very clever line. I don't know I don't know that how many people would see the, okay, let me just play for you to not top deck a land.
Twice.
Right.
And Owen, he knows. He knows that Luke is just checking out the scene here before the game ends. And Lucas says, all right, you
All
got
right,
it.
you got
Owen
it.
Turtenwald, 1 game away. And so is Lucas Blohon. Oh, man. That's going to be a really great game through. We'll make sure we catch that one when it
There's some
starts. But
stakes.
we've
Not
got
just for top 8 on Owen's perspective, but player of the year on the line as well.
Player of the year for Owen, top 8 for Lucas Blohon. And we've got a little bit of a busy board to catch in on our main table. Reid Duke versus Yuta Takahashi. Randy, adjust your glasses, my friend, because
Oh, boy.
we got a heck of a board state here.
This is game 2 with Takahashi up a game?
Yeah, that's correct. Unless they've played a whole other game. I'm assuming this is
No, I
game
think
2,
this is game 2.
given the muddled board state here. So game 2, Yuta Takahashi up a game. And wow, look at those tireless trackers. They both have 6 +1/+1 counters on them.
Since when is Reid's deck mono green?
Yeah, that is a little strange, isn't it? It is very heavy green. Wow, we might have come just at the right time here.
Is this Yuta Takahashi going to pick up win 12? He would love to put a second Bant Company deck into the top 8, joining Luis Scott Vargas.
I'll also remind you that from a bigger picture perspective, Reid Duke is already 12-2. It's
Yes.
Yuta who's 11-3 and looking to scrap out that 12th victory and likely top 8 placement.
Indeed.
I mean, Reid only plays one way. You know, he's not going to like, get lazy or complacent. He just has one gear. But there is much more on the line for Yuta than Reid for this match.
Reid lining up his blocks.
Recruiter, advocate, tracker, trackers.
He died. He died. He died. Okay.
10.
It's never what you want your opponent to say. All right, that one's dead, that one's dead, that one's dead.
And
Reid
you
also
take 10.
took 10 damage in that, yeah.
Discard.
And Yuta
Is that a clue token with 9 counters on it?
Yes, and Yuta is discarding the hand size right now, Randy.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
Yuta Takahashi wins and secures a very likely top 8 spot.
Wow.
Moving on to 12-3 with just 1 round to go. Congratulations to Yuta. Another fantastic finish for him.
Wow, good for him. Bant Company number 2. On to Sunday.
Okay, so on our left table there, we've got Jan Cassander. He's playing against Ken Yukihiro. And the life totals are currently Cassander 20, Yukihiro 10 as we join the game. Once the Blohon and Turtenwald match starts, we will get there. You can see that they're just looking at their hands. But I wanted to check in real quick and see what was going on here.
How much mana do you have? Some remaining mana in your pool? 10.
Well, hey, we came just in time for this as well. Ken Yukihiro has an Emrakul.
Hello. 8 mana Emrakul. 8 mana Emrakul.
Ken, by the way, is up a game here as well. So this Emrakul could be the one that propels him to 11-3-1.
Yeah, he's trying to earn a win-in for next round. Yeah, 2 Shrine of the Forsaken Gods enabling that Emrakul.
That's right. We have some
What did Jan
mulligans
kill it with?
up on our other table.
Ah, Clash of Wills. Counterspelled the Emrakul.
Okay, and now collected company for Jan Cassander. So this is a big sequence for him.
Sure.
He's going to make sure to cast that now before Ken gets a hold of it.
It's like both players are keeping 6 with Blohon and Turtenwald. We should get back over there
Okay, yeah.
or stop them, one or the other.
Yeah, I think we should just go back to Lucas Blohon versus Owen Turtenwald. Blohon playing for his 2nd Pro Tour top 8. He top 8'd PT Dark Ascension back in 2012. And he's also in contention for multiple World Championship slots, including the European slot.
Yeah, he was below the bubble coming into this event, but I mean, playing for top 8 with 2 rounds to go, that should, even if he doesn't make the top 8, he should wind up with enough pro points for Worlds.
Yeah, congratulations to Lou. What a great season for him.
Yeah, indeed.
It's like an invasive surgery hitting the
No duress
graveyard
for
off
you.
of a duress.
Sure.
How about Transgress the Mind? That one is going to resolve.
Okay, duress into transgress. One of them earns a counterspell, the other one not so much.
One of them cleared a path.
Indeed. And Emrakul has been exiled now. Grapple with the past on end step for Turtenwald. He's going to find him a forest. No board state yet for Blohon. He would rather just
Forest.
work away at it. Okay, well,
Yeah, here's
turn 2
Kalitas.
duress. Yeah, I mean, this isn't bad. Turn 3 transgress the mind, and now a Kalitas. That is business here for Lucas Blohon. He finds another transgress the mind off the top of his library, I believe.
19.
But he's not interested. He knows a lot about what's going on in Owen Turtenwald's hand here, and he'd rather just try to get a clock going and punish the relatively slow deck of Turtenwald. Another land, that one was a Shivan Reef found off of a grapple. And a forest off the top for Turtenwald, who just doesn't have anything going on here. This one could slip away from him very quickly. He's going to lose another Emrakul, it looks like, to transgress the mind. I see a Kozilek's return in his hand. Sorry, no Emrakul in his hand. It was an Elder Deep Fiend.
Still. Losing your only creature.
Yeah.
Usually not good.
Yeah, and the Kozilek's return doesn't look great here either. This one could be slipping away from Turtenwald. If it does, that's going to put immense pressure on him in the 16th round. Owen's a very level-headed player, though. He understands the swings of tournament magic better than most,
Still,
but he got to feel it.
you have to.
23, 9, 28.
Yeah.
Another Kozilek's return off the top. Now, can he cast both and get rid of Kalitas here? Yes, he can even get rid... I guess he can't.
Go to 8. 7.
Oh, he is going for it. Okay, so he was waiting just to make sure that he couldn't get anything else. And he's going to get both of them. That is going to buy him a
That's
lot of
quite
breathing
good.
room. Is there another? No, there's no more creature lands down there. But here's another threat from Lucas Blohon in the form of Gideon, ally of Zendikar.
And Lucas is out. He's
And
empty-handed.
Lucas is on empty, but he doesn't need anything else because he's got lethal on board.
28 to 26.
You took 1 from the shambling vents from
Oh
28
yeah,
to
yeah.
27.
Sorry. Yep.
This is a huge turn for Turtenwald. He needs something immediately.
Doesn't have it. He's holding this as pilgrimage as a bluff.
Just to try to prevent Lucas
Please
from
don't activate your
activating.
Gideon.
He's going to do it, and that does it. Lucas Blohon earns that 12th victory. What a huge win for him. Very likely in our top 8. That's the golden number there, number 12, and you can see it on his face, a sigh of relief. And Owen Turtenwald is going to have a major challenge next round.
Wow. Wow. Earned himself 4 winning ins, but 3 have gone by and no in.
Like I said, though, Owen's a pro. Did you hear what he said right there at the end? He said, good luck.
Good for him.
Yeah, and he walked away. You know, he's used to this. This is his job. This is what he's been doing since he was, 13 years old. Still,
Good point.
gotta get there in that last round. All right, we've got
Ooh,
an
another
emblem in
Liliana
play.
emblem.
Liliana emblem on the right-hand side of your screen there. And
Feels
Daniel
like the blue-
Cathro looking to just run away with this thing with zombies again.
Feels like the blue-black zombie deck comes by the Liliana emblem more honest than the random Delirium decks that just happen to have Liliana. It's way more dedicated to the cause.
I agree.
Prized Amalgam coming back out of the graveyard.
They're also just better. The emblems on that side of the table with all the extra
It's true.
zombies are just better. You just
true.
get more of them quicker. Hendriks is going to block with a Pilgrim's Eye there.
Sure, good end step. Get 5.
Uh-huh.
Sure, that seems fair.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 2 plus the number of zombies you control. I'm telling you, it's better. Look at that.
How many cards do those let him draw?
Oh, goodness. There is a Crypt Breaker in there.
Yes, there is.
Only 2 for the moment.
All right.
As if that were bad.
Instant artifact.
Next turn, he
creature.
can Necro for like
You
6.
Don't have it, right? Okay, end step.
You translate everything into how much you can necro.
Of course.
That's great, Randy.
17. Draw.
Teamer Emerge is a sweet deck. I do not see how it comes back from this, though.
Activate.
He's going to
Activate,
yeah.
discard Prized Amalgam.
Choke Destroyer, reveal swamp.
Daniel Cathro going through the motions down the stretch here at 10-3-1.
Madness.
And he's going to wipe the board of Thomas
Madness Doubtful
Hendriks.
Third Pariah.
Yeah, something. Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, it's not going to stick around too long, I guess. Buldaran Pariah is going to
So it's
gobble
like
up a
something
few
similar.
zombies.
Like these two. Well, I'll draw.
Yeah, don't sack untapped creatures.
15.
Hendriks kind of shakes his head like, sure, man. You want the card too, you do it.
Yeah.
A Primal Druid did die in that transaction, so Thomas Hendriks gets to search for a land.
Then combat.
Yep. Will be 13, right?
Yeah, 13.
Thomas Hendriks, you're at 13, and he's got nothing in his hand, and that's
Yeah,
going to do it. Daniel Cathro improves to 11-3-1. So has he earned
I
himself
think
a
it's
winning in
very
that
good.
case?
Yes, he's playing for top 8 next
So
round.
I beat one earlier today just because.
You see Hendricks
they,
shake his head and
like,
smile.
They mulliganed a bunch.
You have to smile when
You
that
have
happens
to.
to you, right?
You have to. That was off of one emblem trigger, that we got to see. The next one was going to be really disgusting. All right, Randy, that leaves us one more match.
Yep. These players are also playing to earn a win and in, so they got to win this round, win next round, then they get to go to Sunday.
So we see Ishkana.
This is game 2.
And it looks like what we're coming in on is Ken Yukihiro just finishing taking a turn for Jan Cassander. And now Jan's taking his turn after that.
Got it. Yeah, that looks right. Yukihiro's red-green ramp deck ramped up to Emrakul.
Nabelgast Herald there for the Bant Spirits list, and it's going to be joined by a Duskwatch Recruiter. Jan is at 16 life. He's got some blockers for the ground. Emrakul doesn't think kindly of blockers. But it does look like Jan should be able to survive this next attack, albeit barely.
Right, where's he going from there, though?
That doesn't look good for Jan. Tireless Tracker. Get a clue. Looks like he has 3 untapped lands to grow the Tireless Tracker by 1 and draw another card, but how is he going to deal? All right, here's an answer. He's got a Spell Queller. Now, he's just going to play that on upkeep, but remember, he has a Nabelgast Herald on the battlefield, and Spell Queller is a spirit, so he's going to use that to tap down Emrakul. Can he chain enough spirits together to just keep Emrakul at bay? because he has survived and, in fact, had quite a nice turn after the Emrakul turn that he had stolen from him there. And if Jan, he's got a card draw engine going. In fact, he has 2 of them going right now. He's got Duskwatch Recruiter and 2 clues from a Tireless Tracker and a lot of lands.
I was wondering how Bant Spirits was hanging out in this Emrakul-laden field.
I think
Maybe
we
we're
solved
seeing
it. Nabelgast Herald is the key.
Crazy.
Oh, no, not another one. Oh, it's another Emrakul for Ken. And if that's the case, then he can run that Nabelgast Herald right into Emrakul and take that line of play away from Jan. Ken draws his card for Jan's turn that he's now in control of.
Yeah.
See that immediately he's lined up that block. And Ken wants to make sure that he shuts off as many draw engines as possible. The Tireless Tracker being the most important one because it's the cheapest one. He's already got 2 clues. He could draw or have a land off the top or find another land and sort of chain them together for more spirits. But really, it feels like getting the Nabelgast Herald dead is going to go a really long way towards Ken winning this. Now it looks like Ken's decided to prioritize killing the Spell Queller as well, and now he's deciding between a Duskwatch Recruiter and a Tireless Tracker. These, of course, are going to be attacking into Ken's board state, as Jan can do nothing but just watch.
Like this.
Okay. So Ken force the creatures to attack, keep blocked.
Forced him to tap his pain lands for 3 damage.
That's right. Leaves him at a pretty precarious 13 life there, you'll note. Emrakul, the Promised End,
Yeah.
looming on the horizon.
Trigger. Maybe trigger. Okay.
Duskwatch Recruiter is going to flip because Ken didn't have Jan cast any spells. But Jan's going to respond to the trigger.
Hey, look, he found a Nabelgast Herald.
Oh, jeez.
That's with that trigger on the stack. He needed to hit out of the first probably 2 activations, and he did.
Did Ken need to kill the Duskwatch Recruiter?
He did. The Spell Queller was the questionable one, right? That was the one that he didn't immediately go for and then ended up getting. Maybe thinking that he could fall behind in damage.
Well, it's a flying blocker.
It's a flying blocker that just takes a turn away. Is that all it was?
Sucks up 3 damage.
All right, so he was just going for the throat here and hoping that Jan didn't find it, but he did. He found a Nabelgast.
Yeah, leaving him Duskwatch Recruiter seems kind of scary there.
And Jan is going to punish him for it. He also has transformed his Duskwatch Recruiter, which means he may be able to deploy multiple cards this turn, given the discount that it gives. Yeah, there you go. Only costs 1, Jan. Duskwatch number 2. Go, and on your upkeep, here comes Nabelgast Herald. And now this line of play is once again live. Looks like Jan's going to crack one of the clues that he's got here. Is that a Weaver of Lightning I actually see on the battlefield right now from Ken? It looks like a Japanese Weaver of Lightning.
It is.
It is indeed. That's amazing for him. If he can find an instant or sorcery, he can use it to kill the Nabelgast Herald.
That's crazy.
Just as I say that, here's a Selfless Spirit. And that also probably means that Jan has an additional spirit in his hand.
What a crazy game.
Wow, this has been a crazy game. Jan looks like he's ready to rumble. He needs to keep finding these instant speed spirits, though, to keep Emrakul at bay. It's going to be hard to do.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
There's Jan. Yet another Duskwatch recruiter. Jan does have another copy of Nabelgast Herald in his hand, Randy.
Wow.
So he needs to try to figure out a way to get Ken from 10 to 0 before that Emrakul gets to kill him.
It looks like he can.
The interesting part as well is that with these blockers and Jan on exactly 13, any blocker will keep him alive through an Emrakul hit.
Right.
Barely, but it will. Jan Cassander is facing down back-to-back Emrakuls here.
Upkeep.
Yeah, and that second Emrakul turn left him with nothing but a lone Duskwatch recruiter.
Take this one and this one.
That
And-
one Duskwatch recruiter just opened up the door and all these
A
creatures poured out.
second copy of Weaver of Lightning, but nothing to trigger it with. Now, of note here, you can see on the right-hand side that these Weavers do have reach.
Yeah.
So they are doing a good job, even
They're
without the
blocking.
instance of just blocking and preventing Jan Cassander from being able to get in and kill Ken Yukihiro, which really, that might be a good enough.
Okay. I pass. I pass.
Yukihiro says, you do you.
Well, he wants to make sure he's got time to win game 3. There's only a game 2. Right, this is Jan Cassander trying to send it to game 3.
Another Selfless Spirit. Now he's going to get 2 triggers, one from each Nabelgast Herald, which is going to tap down both Weavers. Does he have enough damage? There's only 1 Spider left over now. He's sending him in. Is this enough? It looks like it is.
Okay. Next.
Jan Cassander forces game
Jan
3.
won that
Unbelievable.
game.
Through Emrakul.
Oh, so close for Ken Yukihiro. He had it all lined up to kill that next turn. He took a little bit of risk by leaving the Duskwatch recruiter and trying to go for the kill right away. And boy, did Jan punish him for it. That was intense. I did not think that Jan was going to win that when we first came into the match. That was fantastic stuff. Now, like you said, that is going to force game 3, but we are in... It's going to be tight. Time-wise, that game 2 was very long. You can see the rest of our feature match area was empty. We got nothing else in there.
Time check.
A little over
Oh,
4
geez.
minutes, Randy.
4 minutes and 30 seconds?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That is
I mean,
not a lot of time.
Jan's deck can win in that time frame if both players are playing lightning speed, but even then it's unlikely.
Yeah, you saw Ken Yukihiro looking nervously over toward a clock for a lot of the end of that game.
Yeah, the clock's
They
behind him.
shuffled quick. I mean, both players want to play this
Yeah,
to a conclusion.
I was going to ask you that. So both players in this match are 10-3-1. What would a second draw do?
Eliminate them both from top 8.
Awkward.
Yeah, I mean, look, there is an outside shot that all the 12 and 4s will get in and will dip down to the 35 pointers, right? They could get to, what is that, like, whatever, with 2 draws and 3 losses, maybe? But, I mean, that would require all the 12. They'll be below all the 12 and 4s, even if they won next round. So
Both
I don't
players
think...
are mulliganing here, Randy, and you know this
Jeez.
is a valuable time to try to complete this match going out the door.
Go ahead.
Ken is going to keep and scry, put Emrakul on the bottom. And his hand isn't too exciting. He's got a pair of hangerback walkers and a couple of lands with a few more expensive spells down the line. Goblin Dark Dwellers. Yeah, this always gets so tough because the players are trying to play as quickly as they can.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I mean, you have to go through all the procedures. You can't just, you know, skip things. So it does take time. Evolving Wilds number 2 for Jan Cassander is going to take a damage and see his opponent play another hangerback walker. Well, we know Ken's plan. Level up these hangerback walkers 1 or 2 more times and just attack a bunch and see if that works. He can't be too confident that that's going to get him there, but he's got to go for it.
Bunch of creatures in Cassander's hand.
Yeah, he's got a pair of Nabelgast Heralds there. He may just want to get the Tireless Tracker down now. It's tempting to get it down now because it actually blocks one of the hangerbacks. But he doesn't immediately generate a clue token from it, and if it were to die, it'd be kind of annoying.
So he goes for the Spirit.
Yeah, and you can see that it would have in fact died. Fiery Impulse from Ken Yukihiro is going to kill the Selfless Spirit. And we'll see how much damage Jan takes here. He's either going to take, likely he's going to take 2 or 0. More likely Ken's going to level up, and he did. He decided to put counters on his hangerback walkers. This is going to make his clock much more real. Jan really hemming and hawing here. And there's a Tireless Tracker. Okay, so he's going to play that now, play the land, make sure he gets his clue token. Looks like Draconic Roar is going to take down the tracker. And instead of attacking, Ken is going to level them both up, and now we're going to start seeing them attack. Cassander's at 19, which could definitely be relevant here, as it's a 3-turn clock if he falls 1 life point lower. Mausoleum Wanderer for Jan, though he has left up the mana to cast this, a Nabelgast Herald.
17. Oh, take 3, 18, 15.
Ken did not respond to the Nabelgast Herald by pumping up his hanger.
No, that's interesting. He must have something good lined up for this turn.
Or he was just going so fast he missed it. Yeah,
Oh,
I think he
you're
was
right,
going so
Randy.
fast he missed it.
You're totally right, Randy. You can take a look and maybe see if he's got something in his hand that he wanted to play. No, it was the Goblin Dark Dwellers that we saw earlier. So yeah, I think he just missed it. It's hard, you know. You're playing under the lights already, and
Yeah,
then
it
you
is
add
more
this time
important
component.
for Ken Yukihiro to play quickly than it is to play perfectly right now.
Combat.
You
All
can-
right, there's the time call, right?
I hear the judge saying it. Yeah. So additional turn 0 of 5. You can see down on the bottom of your screen as we track that.
Time in the round.
We start on turn 0.
So Ken's going to get 2 attacks after this.
Already counted.
Already.
That was Ken asking about extra time that they had
Yep.
maybe received earlier, but that was already included. So now he's figuring it out. He's like, oh, I got to get this guy dead.
He's going to get extra turn number 2. He's going to get extra turn number 4. So this attack and
Well,
2
actually,
more.
Ken's going to get 1, 3, and 5.
I thought we were on Ken's turn. Oh, it got to Jan's turn?
I believe so.
Oh, that's
yeah.
good for Ken.
Yeah. I might be wrong. Let's see if this is going to tap down a potential attacker. Yeah, I think it is Ken's turn. I think
Yeah,
you
it's
were
Ken's
right,
turn
Randy.
and it's
Yep.
turn 0.
Okay, so that's turn 0. So yeah, that's going to limit him pretty significantly here.
Those Dark Dwellers get.
Fiery Impulse. He starts stemming the bleeding here. Can he use the Mausoleum Wanderer just to counter it? Yeah, he's just going to do that. The Nabelgast Heralds are much more important. And then we see a trigger, though, from
Yeah,
the
the
Weaver
Weaver.
of Lightning, which is going to take down one of the Nabelgast Heralds. Okay, wait a minute now. Ken Yukihiro. He's got 11 power on the board and 2 turns to get Jan Cassander dead. He's got 1 card in his hand. Is this actually going to happen? Jan has to have enough ways to deal with this, right?
Jan's holding Collected Company.
That's all he's got?
Yes. That's all. I mean, a card does a lot.
We'll see.
I think he's going to go for it upkeep.
We will see, Randy. What does it do for him? He needs to hit big. He already hit at least 1 Nabelgast Herald in there. That's going to help.
Yeah. You see
So a
Ken
Spell
just
Queller
kind of
and a
nod.
Naval Gas Herald is going to tap down the team. 2 spirits both entered. They both triggered both Naval Gas Herald, so that's 4 triggers total. And another copy
Second
of
Dark
Goblin
Dweller
Dark
off the
Dweller.
top.
Yeah.
1 guides.
You know
This
how
gets
much
into-
power that gives him?
How much?
15.
Actual 15?
Yeah.
Crazy. There's going to be 1 blocker left in the way.
He's going to have to find a way to get rid of probably a Spell Queller. It looks like he's going to kill the Spell Queller.
Yeah, he wants to leave a 1 toughness creature
Yes.
that he can kill with the Weaver
Yes.
from any spell. That's his plan.
This is huge. This is turn 3.
Yeah. Jan's
And it was a
not
land.
winning.
Is this it for Ken
Ken-
Yukihiro?
Last turn,
He
his
found an
hands are
Emrakul.
shaking.
His hands are shaking, but I think he has a Tormenting Voice in
he
his hand.
does.
And that's a trigger that he
Kill
needs.
your 1 toughness guy. Attack for 15.
And
Attack
Ken
for
Yukihiro
15!
did it! Unbelievable! Fantastic stuff for Ken Yukihiro. He wins on turn 4 of extra turns. Oh my God!
Wow.
I cannot believe he won that.
That was amazing.
They were mulliganing with about 4 minutes on their clock.
Oh, wow. So many Devil Guest Heralds he had to fight through. How about that Weaver
Wow.
tech?
That was insane.
Those Weavers
They were
the-
fantastic.
That was some awesome technology.
You know, we saw how good they were as blockers and also with their triggered ability.
And now he's got to calm himself down because he's not done yet. Now he gets to play a winning in.
Unbelievable stuff from the
Wow.
feature match area. Let's send it back to Rich Hagan at the news desk.
Are you not entertained? The gladiators in our arena, they deliver time after time, but that was truly astonishing. Ken Yukihiro, the tormenting voice, gets it done. And it's still not enough for him. And I can tell you something else, the way it's starting to line up, pairings a long way off before our last round, but with Sam Pardee and Louis Scott Vargas drawing in the last round at 12-2-1, Reid Duke and Yuta Takahashi at 12-3, and Lucas Blohon on 12-3, one of those, somewhere in that mix, because a lot of them have played each other already, will get paired down to someone on 11-4. So that could be 6 players on at least 12-4. Daniel Cathro and Ken Yukihiro at 11-3-1. That would be a 7th. Strasky, Mackel, Mori, Muller, Brown, they're all at 11-4. You could have as many as 11 players on 12-4 or better. It's starting to look like the lower end of the 12-4s will not make it in. So we'll see what happens. Right now, out on the floor, Brian David Marshall has been waiting patiently for, probably about half an hour or so with someone who's very, very happy. BDM, who have you got?
I'm here with Ben Whites, Rich, and I'm hoping he's still excited. It was about a half hour ago that he won his match.
Oh yeah, I'm still excited. Oh yeah.
So tell us about the match and tell us about what it meant for you, because you were in a similar position this time last year.
Yeah. So last year I missed achieving gold status by a single match. I needed to 5-0 constructed on day 2 of the Pro Tour last year, and I won the first 4 and then lost the last one in like a heartbreaker. So this year I again needed to not 5-0 but 4-1 the constructed. So I had 1 round to give, and I ended up winning this round. So now I'm gold, thankfully. It was an emotional roller coaster today because day 1 I started out 4-0 and then I went 0-4 in constructed. In constructed I went 1-4. So I didn't think I was going to be able to make it because I needed to do really well, and in the past I didn't. But then I got there this round and I was just so happy, and I went and hugged all my teammates and just posted to Twitter and all my friends back home, and it was just so great.
Were any of them awake yet?
Many of them are awake still. It's only like 1:30 or something on the Bay Area.
Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Now, Team East-West Bowl is the team. We've met these guys. Scott Lepp won a GP last weekend. Andrew Brown, Eric Severson. Andrew, still some unfinished business for the team coming up in this last round.
Yeah, I just won my last match, meaning I am X-4, and hopefully that's a win in. But even if I win and don't make top 8, that's 15 points, which will put me at 50 exactly, which is platinum, and that would be amazing if I got platinum.
So this has just been an amazing run for East-West Bowl here. Scott Lepp, how did your tournament go following up Grand Prix Sydney?
It's going all right. I'm just trying to get an extra pro point. I'm 8-7 right now, so just battling back. Trying to get that extra point, yeah.
All the matches count here, all sorts of stuff on the line. East-West Bowl just continuing to do good things for the teammates here. So sending it back to Rich at the news desk.
Thanks very much, BDM. Great stuff there. Now, Andrew Brown, he's at 11-4. He is right that it may not be a win and in. Sam Pardy, 12-2-1. Luis Scott Vargas, 12-2-1. They're absolutely rock solid, guaranteed. Now, Reid Duke at 12-3. Yuta Takahashi at 12-3. Lucas Blohon, 12-3. Well, Duke has been right near the forefront of the tournament throughout, so great shout for him. But Takahashi in particular may want to look at tie breaks because 12-4, he could be on the outside looking in. Owen Turtenwald's at 11-4. Remember, if he makes it into the top 8, he is your player of the year. So he is playing for everything in the next round. But I can tell you that we have a constructed master and we have a rookie of the year, and that is Oliver Tew. He drew his last round with Owen losing in the feature match area. No one can catch him now. Congratulations to Oliver Tew. We will see him as the constructed master at the World Championship, and we can't wait to see him there. He has been a red-hot rookie this year with astonishing win percentages. 7-1-1 it took to win constructed master with 1 round spare. Barely needed to sweat Oliver. Congratulations, great job. He is your constructed master. So, Owen Turtenwald, 11-4. Can he be player of the year? We'll find out in the next round. Daniel Cathro and Ken Yukihiro, 11-3-1. Not sure whether they've played before in constructed, but then at least 5 players are on 11-4 behind them, plus Owen Turtenwald. So, could be anywhere from 8 to 11 players, we reckon. We'll see once we actually get the pairings. So Brian David Marshall is still out there on the floor for us. Let's see what's going on out there. David Mines from Australia. He was 2 points ahead in the Australian World Magic Cup race. How's the home team captaincy looking? David, take it away.
All right, Rich, thanks. I'm here with David Mines. David, how's the Australian captaincy looking for you now as we go into this last round of the Pro Tour?
I'm pretty sure, unless I've done the maths wrong, I'm locked now at X7, which obviously isn't a great record, but I just need the extra 2 points to get there. So I think I'm locked.
Okay, so tell us how your tournament's gone overall. I know you said X7. How'd you do on day 1? How about here on day 2?
Yeah, it was a really sketchy start. I was 0-3 in the draft, the first draft, day 1, and then I 4-1 standard, and then 2 on the draft today, and now I'm down to X7 now. But yeah. It was not a great start. I was pretty worried at the start. Big sweat. So
have you and Paul Jackson been checking in on each other each round?
Yeah, but it's totally playful. Like none of us taking it too seriously. So it's entirely innocent, the whole thing. There's no competitive rivalry or anything. So yeah.
No one's putting any burning brown paper bags on anybody's stoop.
No, apparently PJ was really sick yesterday. So but that wasn't me. So
okay, what would it mean to you to be the captain of the Australian national team and lead the team at the World Magic Cup?
Yeah, no, I think it's a real honor with Magic in Australia growing and growing each year. It's really impressive where it is now. Like the GP, we had the biggest GP we've had all year this year. And yeah, it'd be cool to be able to bring the new wave of Australian Magic out to the rest of the world. And hopefully we can put up a decent result and show that we're not just a small country at the bottom of the world that's terrible at Magic. So.
All right, guys, you better start looping in David Mines on your Facebook group for the Australian World Magic Cup team. For David Mines, Brian David Marshall, sending it back to Rich at the news desk.
Well, congratulations to David Mines. Looks like he's fought off Paul Jackson. They were tied right down the stretch, but it looks like David Mines has made it in. So great job by him. All right, so pairings are underway. You won't miss a thing, but we're going to send you across to Seattle. Well, from a little bit ago, I had a chance to go to Renton, Washington, and that, of course, was the home of Inside R&D. Now, it's so great to get a chance to talk with the designers, the developers, all the people who actually make Magic so great. We've already talked, of course, about the mechanics, but there's never enough time to talk with all the people inside R&D. We're going to take a look at that in just a moment or two. And if we get a chance, I want to show you a little more from the house. But right now, it is time for part 3 of Inside R&D. We'll see you in just a little bit. Remember that time when you were a human on Innistrad and all you had to worry about was spirits, vampires, werewolves and zombies? Ah, happy days.
So Thalia's Lancer is my favorite human in the set. I really like toolbox-style decks, and Thalia's Lancer searches for any legendary creature, so you can play a bunch of different one-ofs that are perfect for the right situation and pick out whichever one you want with Thalia's Lancer. I especially like Thalia's Lancer in a deck with Bruna and Gisela, because you can play one copy of Bruna at the top end. You can also play things from other sets, like, you know, one copy of Linvala or another legend that you might like. And then when you have the Lancer, you can sort of figure out what's right for that moment for you to grab and then play and hopefully win with.
Harren's Grace Champion is just a very simple card. It's somewhat reminiscent, actually, of Gavany Township. It doesn't put counters on your creatures, but that idea of like, well, you make either a big attack or your opponent attacks you if they think you're lethal, and all of a sudden you have this, you know, creature that comes out, gives your team a bonus, has lifelink. It really able to turn the tide of battle.
In Shadows over Innistrad, we saw Thalia basically forced to turn against the Church of Avacyn as she recognized that the church had gone astray, following Avacyn's lead, really. So in Eldritch Moon, she really comes into her own, leading a group of heretic Cathars to fight for the ideals of the church rather than the church itself.
Thalia was very popular the first time around in the original Innistrad block. We wanted to have a card that was, you know, similarly sort of a pain in the butt, made it hard to do things. A role player in Modern, this is, you know, she's very good against non-basic lands and just creatures in general, and we'll see if she's too powerful with Collected Company.
So because the Angels are sort of the bad guys, this time we tried to make the spirits kind of feel like the good guys, so they have a lot of positive abilities. So the Mausoleum Wanderer is a spirit that gets bigger and can protect your other spirits from instants and sorceries.
As we were working on the spirits deck and trying to figure out really how to make it something that would look or be more competitive, we realized that we just needed a 1-drop. You know, the blue-white deck was supposed to be pretty aggressive, kind of a disruptive aggressive deck, and it just wasn't. It didn't have any pressure, no early pressure. So I came up with the idea of like, well, what if you have the spirit that, as you play spirits, it kind of gets larger. It hits for 2, maybe even 3 per turn, if you can really just keep the pressure on. And then if your opponent tries to actually wipe the board, you've got a way to interact with it.
One of my favorite spirits in the set is Selfless Spirit. I may be slightly biased because I designed the card, but initially started as an actual spirit reward card in that it was the same card as it is now, but it would sacrifice to make your team indestructible only if you had another spirit. One thing that we found as we were testing Constructed is this was just a pretty interesting effect to give white aggressive decks in general, so we wanted to remove that restriction and just made it a generically appealing card.
The zombie deck is a lot about attrition and getting card advantage, and as we were working on the deck, we found that it just needed more ways to draw cards. It had a lot of ways to kind of get things out of the graveyard, a lot of ways to do things, but it was just running out of cards fast in their decks. So this idea of like a zombie that says, well, what if, you know, you tap 3 zombies to draw a card, and we had to, you know, we put the lose a life there to make it into a black card, but it really made a way to give these zombie decks a kind of great end game and kind of inevitability against these other mid-range decks who might play larger creatures, but, you know, as you kept making zombies, I mean, they might not individually be scary, but when you're drawing 2 or 3 cards a turn off your zombies, you're just going to overwhelm your opponent.
Haunted Dead is such a cool card. I didn't know a zombie could be haunted, but you know, it's Innistrad, and man, it's still next level to me.
Giza and Geralf were characters in flavor text in original Innistrad. And in part of our process, the flavor text comes later in the process. So by the time we realize the flavor text is sort of showing up as our character, the set's done, the cards are done. And so we realized later in the process, like, oh, Giza and Geralf are pretty cool, but we don't have cards for them. So what we did is we made a Commander product years later, we put them in, it's like, okay, you guys get Giza and Geralf. So now we're back on Innistrad, and we're like, okay, you know, Giza and Geralf, we gotta make Giza and Geralf, and so we're filling in the set, and then we realize there's not enough space. We don't have space for Giza and Geralf. We're like, okay, what if we combine them into one card? And so one of the reasons that they're together is A, it's kind of nice to see the brother and sister together, but B, we were kind of tight on space.
The Gisa part is the black card of the card, and Geralf is the blue part of the card. So we felt we could capture what players wanted from both characters with just a single card slot in the set.
Giza and Geralf are so awesome. They've really been given an awesome voice, most recently by Alison Lures in her story for Shadows over Innistrad, as this squabbling pair of brother and sister who are constantly sending undead monstrosities to fight each other, this proxy war between the two of them. But as an example of everything that's going on in Innistrad at this point, they end up actually forced to team up and fight together back to back. They have a shared card in the set. Emrakul's presence causes some unlikely alliances, and that might be the most unlikely of all.
Olivia's Dragoon seems pretty inconspicuous. It's 2 mana, 2/2, but in draft, I just remember taking this card so highly and so frequently because the fact that you can, that's efficient already, and the fact that you can just discard a card whenever you want to it, well, you get upside flying, but the main thing is you can turn on your madness, and I'm a synergy player. I just love building decks like that.
Bloodhall Priest is kind of the confluence of all the things that we like in the vampire deck. It's a pretty cheap, it's a 4 mana 4/4 that you can pay for 3 mana if you have Madness, but it itself has a kind of a callback to another fun mechanic of Hellbent, where if you can discard your card if you're really kind of going all out and playing your stuff, and you cast this last, it's going to come into play, deal 2 damage or something. That's pretty strong. But then every turn you attack, as long as you can get rid of that card in your hand, it's shooting something for 2. In terms of a vampire that's really going to be making a big splash for both vampire decks and madness decks, this is it.
Okay, so one of the challenges of the set is we decided that the front of the cards was going to be the Innistrad thing, and the back was going to be the Eldrazi thing. Now, we knew we wanted to do werewolves, but the problem was werewolf didn't fit the model, so we had to come up with a different way to do werewolves. So we said, okay, well, what if let's start with the werewolf. What if on the front side it's the werewolf? You don't have to turn into the werewolf, we're starting with the werewolf. And then the werewolf turns into something even worse than a werewolf. And so we definitely did the werewolf a little bit different, but we really were trying to embrace this idea of the horrors of Innistrad turning into something even worse.
Spirit of the Hun is a werewolf that fits as a nice piece into the werewolf deck where you can flash it out, which is always nice in the werewolf decks because it means you can pass on your turn and let all of your werewolves transform. And its flash ability is very notable, impactful in the current metagame where we expected and anticipated that Languish would become a more and more popular card, and its ability helps. If your opponent plays Languish, you can flash it out in response, give all your werewolves +0/+3 until end of turn, and they all survive that Languish and can likely all come over for the win on the next turn.
So we knew coming into Eldritch Moon design that one of the things that Shadows over Innistrad design had sort of pushed off to us to deliver on was one thing everyone had been asking for and clamoring for: legendary werewolf. So very early on in the process, we were like, okay, this is a bullet point, this is one thing we need to deliver on, let's get to work making this legendary werewolf.
One of the things that we often find is people like patterns, and they get really upset when you break patterns. And so the fact that every card in this set was colorless in the back, it was a big deal, and it was something that the set was trying very hard to do. And so the fact that there's one that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb is something we knew people would react to, and for better or worse, but it's something that we also knew that was really important. I mean, if there was going to be one card that we spent this kind of equity on, it'd be something like Ulrich, the legendary werewolf that people have been clamoring for the last really 5 years.
So Emrakul's imprisoned in the moon. I didn't see that one coming. But it's going to be a while before Innistrad's back to normal. So next time we'll visit a plane in much happier shape. A plane of invention, a plane of limitless possibilities, a plane called Kaladesh. But until we meet again on Inside R&D, for all the people here at Wizards of the Coast, I'm your host, Rich Hagan, saying bye.
and I'm your host, Rich Hagan, saying hi. Welcome to the news desk. Rich Hagan, Brian David Marshall, Ian Duke from Inside R&D. Ian, just a little nerves test. Hands out, please. That's pretty good. So you reckon Reid's going to be in right now?
I certainly hope so.
Right.
Yeah, super happy for him.
Yeah, so Reid is at 12-3. We have the pairings for the last round. Our best guess is there will be 8, 9, or 10 people on 12-4 or better. Let's work our way through how that works out. So Sam Pardy, he's currently on 37 points. He's been paired against Lucas Blohon. There you see the standings on 36. So if they chose to ID, that would put Sam Pardy to 38 and Lucas Blohon to 37. 2 people in the top 8. Then let's say Luis Scott Vargas on table 2. He's at 37 right now, paired against Yuta Takahashi from Japan. He's on 36. Assume for a moment that they choose to intentionally draw. That puts Scott Vargas to 38, Takahashi to 37, all safe. Those 4 can ID and know that they're in. Keep a count along for the top 8. 8's the number, that's why we call it that. So then, Reid Duke, Ian's brother, he's on 36 points. He's paired down against Ken Yukihiro on 34 points of Japan. Now, if Reid wins, you get a 5th player above 36. If Ken wins, well, then that's 6 players on 36 or more. Reid would stay on 36 points. Ken would leapfrog him into the top 8 for sure on 37. So, you're wondering about Owen Turtenwald. He is paired against a player in his very first Pro Tour. It is Daniel Cathro, who is on 34 points. Owen is on 33. They must play. There can be no concessions here. Daniel Cathro will need to win to get into the top 8 on 37. Owen, because he paced the field for so long, if he wins, there's a great chance. BDM, you've got the tie breaks there. Owen's tie breaks, I imagine, are really rather good still.
They're in the high 60s. All the people around him are in the high 50s.
Yeah, so if Owen wins, he will be one of the 12 and 4s we're almost certain in. If Daniel Cathro wins, that would eliminate Owen Turtenwald. And at that point, remember, if he makes the top 8, he's Player of the Year. If he doesn't make top 8, and Steve Rubin is not making the top 8 either, by the way, Seth Manfield will, in the last round of Swiss of the entire season, be crowned Player of the Year. That's how that's going to work. But there's more. We're at 6 or maybe 7 players in the bracket of 36 points or higher, but we've still got 3 matches to tell you about. Andrew Brown from Team East West Bowl that BDM was just chatting to. He's up against Valentin Mackel, who turned 5-0 into 11-5. He has kept it all together. 11-4, and therefore, if he wins, he could be in the top 8. Brown against Mackel for the 7th or 8th slot in the top 8 mix. Antonino De Rosa was with us for the draft viewer, former US national champion, dual citizenship with Italy. Both nations will be cheering for him, one of the most popular guys in Magic. He's on 33 points against Katsuhiro Mori, 2005 world champion from Japan, winner in Yokohama there. He's on 33 points. One of those 2 should get to 36 points. And then Andre Strasky, who has fought all day long to shake off Lucas Blohon in the race for the World Magic Cup captaincy for the Czech Republic. It's an all-European clash for him against Martin Muller, the Great Dane. 33 points each. One of those will get to 36, and that will give us 8, 9, 10 players on 36 points or better. It looks to us like 1 or 2 players on 36 points will not make it in. BDM, you have the tie breaks. What's going on amongst the 33 pointers? How are they working out?
Well, you're looking at Martin Mueller with under 50% tiebreakers for opponent's match win percentage.
Grim.
Andre Strasky just over 50%. Mori and De Rosa in the mid-50s.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Valentin Mackel and Andrew Brown very close to 60%, 58 and 59% respectively. Probably going down a little bit depending on what happens after this match.
So at that point, and this again is assuming 2 pairs of intentional draws for Pardy, Blohon, Scott Vargas, Takahashi, 4 locked away on 37 points or better. You're then looking at very likely, what's Reid's tie breaks?
So Reid's at just over 63%.
Yeah, he's fantastic chance regardless
Almost 64,
of what happens.
yeah.
Right. So he should be in for sure. Ken Yukihiro needs to win to make it in there. Looks like the winner of Mackle Brown should be in, and then probably the winner of Mori DeRosa. And then it gets tougher and tougher as you head towards Strasky and Muller. So Brown, Mackle in the box seat of those three, Mori DeRosa in the middle, Strasky, Muller the least of those three in terms of the likelihood. The winner of Strasky Muller could well win and miss out on the top eight.
And Duke Takahashi is, Yukihiro is going to really determine how many spots are available in that top eight for the 36s.
And all of that could change depending on what happens with those intentional draws at the top of the standings. But one thing we know for certain, if Owen Turtenwald wins this next round of Magic, he will be the player of the year. Magic doesn't get better than the next hour. Thanks for being with us. It's time for the final round of Swiss here at Pro Tour Eldritch Moon.